What is up, everybody? I'm No Looks Given, and today we are going to be taking another look at Zippy the Zombie, this time with some full gameplay so we can break it all down and use some of those strategies that we were just talking about yesterday. And first things first, I'm going to pick up a Tiny on the first shop of the game. I like Tiny because it's basically going to trade with everything except for a Humpty Dumpty on that first turn, and it gets your evil twin clock ticking so that you can start to grab that a little bit earlier. I'll pick up a forbidden fruit on turn 2 so that way we can purchase 2 things from the shop, but unfortunately we are playing up against a ghost already, which means that we're only going to get 1 tick down from this combat because this cursed king just rage quit, I guess, after they were unable to cast a spell on turn 2. So there you go. And on turn 3, we kind of have a weird shop. I'm just going to wind up picking up a golden chicken to kind of delay my pick and a Mad Mim. And Mad Mim, I think, is a pretty strong character. There's a lot of cool things that you can do with it once you hit level 3. Which is nice to continue to keep a strong board. One of the reasons that I also pick it up though here, especially against Pup, I'm thinking, okay, we might need a little bit more attack on some of our characters, so that way we can start trading off some units. So that is part of the thought process here, and Pup blesses us with a summons comp already really early in the game. So that's going to give us a bunch of triggers, and we'll repay the favor by giving them a Polywoggle activation. Really silly combat. I think we were both happy enough about that. But here's where things get a little bit interesting. Now we are on level 3, and I'm going to deliberately pick up 2 different 3-cost good characters. And I talked about this a little bit yesterday. The main idea being we're going to take a look for some level 3 treasures and try to use our evil twins basically as soon as we get them and give ourselves a lot of opportunity to do so. One of the main reasons that I'm doing that is there's some really powerful tier 3 treasures, namely Crystal Ball and Merlin's Hat, and I think that one of the potential strengths of Zippy is his ability to find Crystal Ball and Merlin's Hat a little bit easier. So I'm going to continue to pick up level 3 good units, and that is going to be a Stag, which is super powerful, and an Ogre Princess, which is also a really cool character to activate with Zippy. I do wind up rolling past Ogre Princess the first time, though I will pick it up this second time. Probably should have just picked it up, especially because I have this Good Witch, but it's really nice that we were able to roll and find a way to activate this Sleeping Princess. And now I'll sell off the Mad Mim and pick up a second copy of that. You can see that we're only 2 ticks away, so we are very likely to be getting our evil twin next turn. And that will mean that we're going to get our first look at a tier 3 treasure by tripling up on the Sleeping Princess. And that was the idea. We're going to wind up finding another one in the shop anyways, so that's pretty sweet, and that'll give us Merlin's Hat. So now we just have to use this evil twin to find a Crystal Ball. I'll throw some additional attack on the Ogre Princess, and we get another look at a tier 3 treasure already, which is awesome. It's not quite going to be the Crystal Ball just yet, but we'll pick up a Power Orb and then a Genie's Wish, which is some nice additional power onto this board. One thing that I do want to note is that we actually are already down to 6 players in this lobby, which might make you think, okay, well, it was only a 6-player game, not super impressive, but I think it actually means that we're playing on hard mode, because now this lobby is just going to be so much quicker, and we're not going to have that much time to really abuse the hero power of Zippy, which is very much a late game hero. If you are in a 1v1 versus Zippy in the end game, you are definitely dreading your position because Zippy is just so scary and can so consistently find those endgame units, but we might not have enough time to be able to do all that. We do get a nice combat there. I'm not sure if Merlin was griefing us by not playing the full board of units, or more likely just sold off some units to pick up XP, but we are still a few triggers short of activating for another evil twin. But that's totally okay. We, in this shop, see a bunch of tier 3 good characters, but I don't want to pursue that super heavily. If we had found a stag or an ogre princess, certainly I would pick that up, but I think one of the strengths of Zippy the Zombie, similar to a Wonder Waddle or a Pied Piper, is there's going to be a bunch of different directions presented to you, and your success in playing the hero is how you are able to simultaneously pursue a bunch of different directions to see what pays off. And that's exactly what we're doing here with this King Arthur pickup. Royals is also a really cool comp on Zippy the Zombie. And we also almost get Nutcracker active in this turn, which is pretty cool. We are going to get that Ogre Princess Slay, but basically just making a bunch of King Arthurs is actually pretty strong with Zippy, so that's definitely something that I'm considering, but I'll leave it up to the game here. If we can find a stag or an Ogre Princess, I'll go for that. We could potentially go for a Nutcracker too if we find a Heartwood Elder, but if we find a King Arthur, I want to be ready to go for that as well. And I would be super excited to pick up a Sky Castle here, but I'm not going to turn down a Horn of Olympus, especially not with a River Wish Mermaid in the shop. So super excited to also pick up a River Wish Mermaid while we've got this Horn cooking. And now I'm potentially pursuing a different route with Zippy. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways that you can build with this hero. You can just go for the questing heroes, play some good stuff. You can try Royals, you can try Hatball, and then one of the main units in the end game that you really want to be evil twinning a whole bunch is, of course, Empress P, hashtag Queen P. So that is going to be made a lot better by having this early Horn of Olympus, because it just means, okay, we know where we're going now. So that is exactly what we're going to look for. And I would have been excited here to see like a Forking Rod or a Sky Castle, even still. Both of those could have been really cool and help on a few different various comps. Ring of Rage, probably best suited again for that Slay comp, and now with this Ring of Rage, I'm thinking maybe we can Burning Palm this Ogre Princess and get that over the hump. So again, just pursuing a lot of different angles here, and then I'll pick up a Golden Chicken to finish off the turn. Going to be going into 5.0 on next turn, and 5.0 with an Evil Twin as well. We'll probably grab another one of those in combat. You might notice we are already on to the top 5 of this lobby. Things are going really quick, so this game is going to go over pretty soon, but I think I want some XP. Main reason being, I think that with Horn of Olympus, Slay / Princess P, hashtag Queen P, Empress P, is going to be the most consistent comp that we can find ourselves in. So in picking up some XP, I'm just going to be able to find those Empress Ps that much sooner. We're also playing up against the Ghost right now, so I've got a little bit of time. I can't use my Evil Twin this turn because I just picked up some XP, but I will wind up picking up a Stag so that I can go for that next turn. One thing to note, I did just roll past a Baba Yaga. It was potentially a mistake. I was thinking that maybe like some more XP or something like that could be good, but Lancelot is also a really, really cool pickup and another really cool card to Evil Twin. We will need a few more ways to give it some additional stats to get it over the hump onto 25 attack or health, but we're starting here. This is a start. And then I'm also going to lock onto this lucky coin just because it's free. We'll just use it to roll next turn. No reason not to. If you're out of gold, lock onto a lucky coin. So Lance is going to get the Slay. That's super lucky. It gives him +3/+3 because of the River Wish Mermaid. So that's pretty nice. And it just needs a little bit more stats to get over there. But I am ultimately just going to buy some more XP this turn. I did mention this in the last turn. 3 coin for some XP I think is a pretty good rate when now we can use our entire turn to roll for Princess Peas. And I'm going to get a little bit distracted by the Jormungand because we do have this River Wish Mermaid here. But the idea is that Princess P is just going to be such a good character for us in the end game that as much time as I can spend rolling for it, the better. And maybe we're probably out of this hat ball shenanigans, though we could potentially still Evil Twin the Stag, and we'd be happy enough to still find a crystal ball, but more excitedly if we could find a treasure map. That could be really cool. Grab a tier 7 treasure from Lancelot. Again, just a lot of different routes that you can pursue. All that said, Crystal Ball, not exactly what we're looking for when we've got Moonsonghorn, Jormungand, and a Lancelot that's like almost active. One more Slay and Lance will be over, or we could potentially throw a spell on him. I think we can get away with a Slay though, but we are in the top 3 of this lobby. Good Boy, not a great thing to Evil Twin, but what's important here is we can immediately double Evil Twin whatever character we pick up this turn. And I think I'm going to go a little bit farther back into Slay with all of it. The thing is, I can use an Evil Twin to make another River Wish Mermaid, at which point all of my characters have a whole bunch of Slays. And I think that that's ultimately just going to be the safest avenue to victory here. So that's what I'm going to go for, and I'm going to go for Blaze of Glory after making another copy of Lancelot even. And one thing that I very much considered doing was just putting the Blaze of Glory onto Lancelot, sorry. But I just wanted to make sure that this Lightning Dragon slayed, and wound up not even needing it, but I'm still glad that I made the move, just because once that Lightning Dragon slays once, it's going to have so much of an easier time slaying in future combats, and then also we win this combat, just by the virtue of a Lightning Dragon slaying, our Jormungand is able to carry us to victory. So now I don't really have to worry about Lightning Dragon. I know it's going to be big enough, it's certainly going to be a big game against Pup, and our Lancelot is active, and we can even activate our other Lancelot by picking up a Baba Yaga here. So I'll do that as well, and that's going to get us 2 level 5 treasures, and we're definitely treasure hunting right now. We do want to find some Princess Peas, some Empress Peas, hashtag Queen P, but I will also be excited to pick up some tier 5 treasures because there's some good ones. Ambrosia for Baba Yaga, quite good. Hand of Midas, also pretty decent, as well as Staff of the Old Toad. But the biggest one, of course, that we are looking for is Evil Eye to double our support bonuses, which should allow us to just totally take over this game. So 2 Lancelot activations is a really, really fun aspect of the Zippy the Zombie hero power. Soul Tack is going to stop our Lightning Dragons, but it won't stop the mighty Jormungand. And we will be able to get away with a win and a kill onto Pup, as well as 2 tier 5 treasures after this is done. And we're on to the finals and feeling pretty good. We'll definitely pick up this Evil Eye, and we'll also pick up a Staff of the Old Toad. Actually, an abundance of riches here, but Staff of the Old Toad is really good on Zippy because I can't even get the words out of my mouth before we find an Empress P, hashtag Queen P. Now we can start to Evil Twin this P. I'd like to find one more or pick up another Evil Twin before we actually fire off that trigger. But for this turn, I am just going to go for the Drink Me potion, so that way we can just cast a spell and potentially get some more stats onto the board. I do think that this Hugify onto Princess P, hashtag Queen P, Empress P, is a pretty good bet here. And then I have to decide if I want to play this Boomhilda or if I want to put in another River Wish Mermaid, and wound up not even mattering as my opponent Pigomorphed my Sorry, they pigomorphed my Boomhilda there in the back line anyways, but my opponent is actually going to get a win here. It's a pretty close combat, but sometimes with the Slay comp, your Jormungand is just left out there and then all of your opponent's units attack into it. But I don't think that's going to be a big deal for us for too much longer, because now we get to grab an upgraded Empress P and a Mimic chest. So now we have perfect Slay treasures, and I'm feeling pretty good. I am going to check out my opponent's comp to see exactly how high all of their stats are, and it looks like this Empress P is really, really likely to slay against what my opponent's got going on. It can slay against the Lance, the Jorm, and the Spellweaver. We could put in the Boomhilda for a little bit more insurance, but ultimately, I think that this Empress P is going to be big enough, and I think I do, or maybe I'm getting some of my combats mixed up. Okay, maybe in a future combat, I will reorder some of this board just a little bit. But for right now, Lightning Dragon's going to get in there, take out my opponent's River Wish Mermaid, and then Lancelot gets in and is quite nice for us. Now, this Lightning Dragon will take out a few of my characters. That part is a little bit unfortunate, and I think that's actually what makes me reconsider some of my ordering here. Now I might want to make my Empress P attack first so that it can slay, and also so that it can pump up some of the characters in my back line. I'll go ahead and pick up another Baba Yaga and then another Jormungand, and then we're done for this turn. I could have picked up the Hercules. That's something that the B can do, but not when you are this close to the end of the game. I don't think that's something that you'll go for. We do see another Sky Castle there, which is cool, and the other thing that I'm doing is I'm tripling up on my River Wish Mermaid. The main reason being that I actually want to play 2 Baba Yaga here. The 2 Baba Yaga does some kind of interesting things, but the main thing that it does is it gives Empress P 50 attack, thanks to all of my supports. And by the way, off the treasure skip, I forgot that I had more gold that I could spend this turn. But now Empress P is going to slay and die, so now all of our units are absolutely massive, including our Jormungand, but also including our backline supports. It was a little bit lucky that we got the first attack, but because we did, we were able to do some absolutely massive stuff here. And if you take a look up at the win on the top of the screen, the win percentage, we were still very, very likely to win this combat. Our board is just so much bigger than our opponents. I guess it was 2 out of 3. Maybe on the next combat, the math goes up even farther with this Pigomorph and the fact that Empress P is now at 160 and 120. So that's just going to be even more stats. I am still going to play this Lightning Dragon. I know that my opponent has Soul Tack, but there's still a 1 in 3 chance that the Lightning Dragon dodges the Soul Tack, and I think that 1 in 3 chance is better than just playing another Jormungand. It's certainly close. I could see taking that either way. But I felt like we're not actually getting that much stronger by playing a second Jormungand, and just the fact that Lightning Dragon could do something, I think is worth a slot on the board. We're going to wind up pigomorphing my opponent's Doom Breath, which is good because they got first attack and would have taken out all of our Baba Yagas. And then Princess P is going to get in there, Empress P, hashtag Queen P, and that is going to get a whole bunch of slays, make an just a nasty Jormungand, and ultimately take my opponent out of the game. But really sweet one. I thought that this comp was impressive for how quickly we put it together in such a short game, but that's kind of the power of the B as well. You take a look at this board and we are really only playing half a board of good characters. Maybe, I mean, I'd say about exactly half, considering you could run this board with 1 or 2 River Wish Mermaids. And of those good characters, all of those contributed with our hero power to get us to this point in the game. The River Wish Mermaid was just kind of a late game thing, but we did use it to get additional slays. But the Lance helped to get us the Evil Eye, and then of course the Empress P, hashtag Queen P, was able to get us that Mimic chest. And that just made this comp go absolutely nuts. And then even the horn, while we didn't grab that from the River Wish Mermaid, we did grab that from the King Arthur's early on in the game. And ultimately, I think that this is just going to be a really, really powerful strategy for this hero. But the important thing is that I also tried some other strategies on the way to get here, and the bee is just so powerful and so flexible that we were able to throw out a bunch of things and see what stuck, and then we stuck with that, and that wound up being really, really strong for us. That's going to be it for me today. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'm No Looks Given. Peace.